Good evening. It is just 30 minutes or so, or 40 minutes after the market's closed. I'm just going to quickly recap my trades for today. Been a funny week. I've overtraded quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. Overtraded, revenge traded, and I've not traded particularly well. So today I changed my strategy around. I think the main reason I didn't trade too well was because I was encouraging myself to overtrade by keeping a tight stop loss. I had a 10 tick stop loss, which on ES 10 ticks is pretty tight, and I was getting out of trades, being stopped out and getting back in again. And I think trying to find a reversal or trying to find an area where it could reverse with 10 ticks as a stop loss is just too little. So today I gave myself a wider stop. I changed my strategy a bit. I still got a 10 tick stop loss, but for one I take 3 contracts. So I got a stop loss at 10 ticks, 20 ticks and 25 ticks. So kind of give me a bit more room. And I got my profit set to 30 ticks, 50 ticks and 100 ticks. That's like my runner. And I'm looking for ads as well. So, and also if I get stopped out on the first one, the 10 tick, then if we do continue back, reverse back in the same direction, then I'll add back in again to get that contract back. So that's kind of my strategy, which I'm just back testing. I ran it today and it worked okay-ish. So I'm going to go through the trades. Before I start, I'm just going to go through the levels which we were watching. Just note that one of my trades I got out at 8:30 because we had a big, looked like a news data drop, but there was no news at 8:30. So I'm going to go into that in a second. So just to recap the levels from the pre-market video today, I was watching a bounce down at this area, which is 50.93 to 50.96, and that's basically coming off of this pivot here and this pivot over here. I was also watching for a break and retest of the pre-market high, which is this level here, and that's really it. I have a rejection sitting at 51.46. This is coming off of the all-time high area, and originally yesterday until this morning I had this pivot as well, which is an area of confluence, bottom of this pivot here, tops of these candles as well. And I took it away because I thought, you know what, I just want to stick to recent pivots like this one and this one. But what I didn't what I should have done, just left the level there, because look at that, it came straight into that area and rejected it. So the levels work great, it's just the execution I'm working on. So let's go into my trade. Oh, and if we did come down for a big bounce, I was watching yesterday's low for a bounce. So let's quickly go over my trades for today. So I'm looking at the 5-minute chart for MES. If you listen to the pre-market video, I was short in the pre-market video. I took the short based on that 51.16 area, 15.14 area I was watching. I've been watching that for a few days, and I went short, and it initially looked good, and then what I didn't expect there to be a big candle come in, almost like there's news at 8:30, and I didn't like that move. I did have a target, 3-hour target sitting there right on that 50 moving average, another one on the VWAP, and I had my 10-hour target down here, and my stop, I had a stop just above there at, I think it was 10 ticks, and then I had 20 ticks. I can't remember where that was, 20 ticks, and it might have been, I think it was 25 and 20 ticks, I can't remember, around there. So they're my stops, and I got stopped out on entry there. I'm just trying to remember. That's it. So I got stopped out on this trade there. In fact, I kept it tight. I got out of break even first. So I didn't like this candle. It came all the way back up, and when I saw that, I still want to hold onto it. So I got out of break even. Could have made some profits. It did come back down a bit, and it bounced before it started moving up. But I'm trying to play a safer game now and not edge my bets as much. And even though my stop was up here, I had a few stops up here actually, the 3 which I just showed you. I was out pretty much at break even. I think there was a little bit of loss because I got out manually. So my next entry, I was looking for another short, and I saw it look like it's curving around, top in tail. The order flow looked like it wanted to sell off, and I took a speculative short there, and I saw it break through this 8 as well, and probably shouldn't have traded that. It wasn't great. I looked at the order flow as well, and we were still having the if I can move it across, let's go to my second screen. Screen. So that's the reason I went short, and I was confident, even though maybe I shouldn't have taken the second time. But anyway, I got my stop. My stop out was, what was it? 10 ticks, I think, there and there, and I was out. I think I tried adding there as well, and I ended up just getting out of it on that big rejection candle. It was a bit annoying, but it is what it is. So I was watching it, and then I realised the order flow is working in my favour then, and exactly what I was seeing back on that screen. So I went short again, and I went short again, and I took a little bit of profit off there, and I added down here, waiting for it to, it came down, it came back, so I added, and I didn't like what I was seeing. I saw the top and tail, and and then this is where it got a bit strange. Let me just open up some screenshots. So I took some screenshots earlier as well. Oh. So the order flow, the cumulative delta was increasing and the price was decreasing, so that's definitely a divergence going on, and that's why I didn't like it. So I got out of my trade. Got out of my trade here and here, so I didn't hold on, and obviously I think that's the right thing to do, because I could have held it, and then we had news. I'm not sure there's news at 10 or there was Fed speakers, and then we saw the big, I was expecting it to push up big time, but we saw this big red candle down instead, and I was a little bit frustrated and annoyed, because obviously my first target was, I hit 3R, that's a good target. My 5R target was about there, and I had a 10R target down here, so it would have been a proper decent trade had I just kept in. But again, like earlier, I was erring on the side of caution, out and out and out, and that's only because order flow was giving me a different picture of what was really happening. But then we're leading up to what really happened next, and as I said, that was going up, and I think this was setting up for a bigger move. And so I'll go into the next screenshot. So this is a little bit later, and you can see I even drew the arrows in trade room. Price was coming down, and that's why I didn't like it, and the cumulative delta was going up, and I really didn't like it, and that's the reason I got out of the trade. And then I'm going to flick over to my main screen, but I'm just going to go into what happened today. So we sold all the way down, come right down to almost a 200 on the 5-minute chart, and the one thing that stood out the most was the cumulative delta again. Let's go back. Was the break and retest of the pre-market high. So basically I was in profit on this one, I had a loss on this one, so that was a decent move down to there, and obviously I would have preferred that move down as well. So my next one was to break and retest of the pre-market high, which was this area here, and you can see on the 5 minute we put in this big topping tail, it came down, and so that's where I got my entry right at that point. Don't think I was ever in the red on this trade. It pushed up. I think my first 3R target was about there, literally by 1 tick again. Came all the way back down and I got out at break even. Then I was watching the cumulative delta again and I was convinced I should stay long. So I got back in long again, almost at that point there. And that was a decent trade. This time I hit my 3R target and I hit my 5R target. And I started seeing signs of it reversing. And so I watched cumulative delta was kind of flat. We're getting some big selling as well. If I can just find those candles. What time is it? 12. Around there. So let's go back onto the next screen. And as you can see, that was my out as it broke down underneath here, and you can see then it pulled down, which is good. Then it came back up, put in a lower high, and look at the volume come in, big volume and massive big dump. I don't know what happened at that time, 3:30, but there you go. And that was it for the day. So I've done trading and left me green for the day. So decent day's trading, and it's mainly down to reading the order flow and reading the market. And using the order flow is like having an X-ray machine over every candle, because now I can see what's going on in all of these candles, where the volume is, especially here where I could see the volume was really happening at the bottoms of these candles, and it looked like it didn't, it ran out of legs at the top of those candles. So that's the reason I got out. And I was by this point I was quite a lot in profit, so I was kind of trailing the pivots anyway. So I probably would have got out there even if the market didn't show me the smaller amounts of volume. So that's it. That's my day. Looking forward to trading tomorrow. News for tomorrow. I think we've got tomorrow. Okay, so we've got Powell speaking at 10, and then at 8:30 we've got a little bit of news. Jobless claims at 8:30, so we could watch a bit of movement there. And then we've got, that's it really. Well, 8-week and 4-week auctions. Another Fed speaking as well. I knew there was something down there at 11:30. So tomorrow we've got 8:30, 10, the big one at 10, and then 11:30, and that's it. Okay. Hopefully you had a good day's trading. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with the live pre-market levels tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern time. And again, it's worth watching that because the levels which I said today all worked perfectly. Could be a bit critical at this level. I think maybe I should have been watching for the bounce around here or around there, because it would have worked, but I was probably a little bit my level was a little bit low on that one. But definitely the break and retest of pre-market high was good as well. And technically, even though I didn't say at that level there, which I had, which is on the video yesterday and the day before, because that's the level I was watching, or definitely yesterday, that would have been a decent level as well. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.